Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Wednesday, and all of our guests, including Joey Kenward, standing by, brought to you by our title sponsor, the great people at Able Auctions, ableauctions.ca. Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox just before we get to Joey. Unsigned, get with the times, Donnie and Dolly. The trend is going to stream. Get with it because TV will become obsolete in 10 years.
Oh, boy.
Does that mean this show
will become obsolete? The show is obsolete. We're done. We're done in 10 years,
I think that happened about a year or two ago. Joey Kenward joins us now from Sportsnet 650. He describes himself as a cancer fighter on his Twitter account. Joey's in a battle with leukemia, and we thought we'd get Joey on to get his thoughts on the Canucks and what Dakota Joshua is going through. He released a statement yesterday telling the world that he is recovering from testicular cancer. No timeline on his return to the Canucks. He will not be at training camp medicals today up in Penticton. They're on the ice tomorrow. Joey, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for having me, guys.
I would imagine, given your personal situation and your love for hockey, the Canucks, the Dakota Joshua news hit home. Have I got that right, Joey? Did it hit home for you?
Yeah, certainly. For those of your audience members, whether they're watching or listening, that might not be aware of what I've gone through, I was diagnosed with an acute form of leukemia back on Black Friday of last year, so late November. Had me in hospital for all of December. I got a lot of chemotherapy treatments. Then I was released and then had to wait for a stem cell donor match. It's the only way I was able to survive the disease, and thankfully I got one. I had that stem cell transplant on March 7th, and I'm happy to say that just gone 6 months of transplant, I'm feeling very, very good. My doctors are happy with how the recovery process has gone. The last 2 months has probably been the best I've felt both physically and mentally through this journey. Long way to go. There's no doubt about it. But and that's a different thing that I've got as to what Dakota Joshua has. But you're right, Don. When I read that news and statement from the Canucks and the 28-year-old forward, it certainly struck a chord with me, as I'm sure it did with so many Canucks fans of so many ages, who all of them, in one way or another, have been affected by cancer, whether it's through family members, friends, or colleagues.
What would you say to Dakota, given the chance?
Fight hard. He's in good hands. Obviously, in his statement, I believe he said that he was diagnosed in the summer, so he's gone through treatments. The one thing that I know really has helped me in my recovery has been the emotional support that I've had, not only from obviously my family, but from friends, colleagues, and quite frankly, I was really, really surprised at the response that I had from complete strangers who I've never met, but reached out to me through social media or somehow got my email address or telephone number. Dakota Joshua, I'm sure after this occurred in the summer, had great support from family, from his teammates, from anybody that knows him outside of hockey. But now all of a sudden, when you go public with this, he's going to get a flood of response from Canucks fans, from people he doesn't even know, and that can only help him in his recovery.
Joey, I'm going to tell you, cancer affects everybody because we always know somebody who's battling it. And my wife had thyroid cancer and thankfully beat it 15 years ago. So I know what this disease can do to a person mentally. Tell us mentally, there's the physical aspect of cancer, then there's the mental aspect of cancer.
Yeah, and Rick, I'm very fortunate to say, and I said the last 2 months has probably been the best I felt physically. There's been some ups and downs in my recovery, both in and out of hospital, but that was expected with the diagnosis that came my way. I feel very, very fortunate though, right, from the get-go, and there were tough days mentally, but I feel very fortunate that the mental state that I've been able to be in through the last number of months and through all of this calendar year has really helped me try to beat this disease. And I think the mental side of that, the medicine has to do its job. The body has to recover. But mentally, that is so important. And sometimes that's a real challenge for people. Let's be honest. Sometimes it's really, really difficult if you don't have strong family connections or a strong network. I'm so blessed to be able to have had that support in my back corner, because that really has helped the challenges that I've faced as far as the mental side of things. You're right. It's a physical challenge, no matter what cancer diagnosis it might be, but it can be a real mental taxing on an individual as well. And here's hoping Dakota Joshua has that strong mental capacity. It sounds like that is the case, and fingers crossed he's back on the ice in a Canucks uniform real soon. But I know, as you guys said off the top of your program, health and family does come first, and that's what I think everybody is pulling for Dakota right now.
And what Dakota did yesterday, Joey, which was very smart, him and his agent got together and they crafted that message. And a lot of that message was, go get checked out. If something doesn't feel right, go get checked out. Because if you don't get it checked out, you don't find out what it is. What about the message that Dakota sent yesterday through his tweet?
Probably the most important part of that release, Rick, and I can't agree with him more. For men, yeah, get yourself checked out periodically. Doesn't have to be every day, every month, but it's really important to listen to your body. For me, I only had a couple of days before I went to the emergency room that I had any trace of an idea that I had problems with my blood, right? Like I had a bleeding nose one morning, I had a bad bloodshot eye the next day, and then the following day after that, I woke up with blood in my mouth. So it's really, really important to get checked out, and whether that's getting your blood tested at least once a year. I was before my diagnosis, and I certainly am now. Getting your blood checked, and it doesn't matter if it's men or women, at least once a year. It's oh so important. And the other thing that I would promote, and I think Dakota would as well, people, if they can become blood donors, or even the younger audience, stem cell donors, it helps people. I'm not talking to you guys right now if I didn't have people donate blood, or I didn't find a match to have a stem cell transplant. So Dakota's message is an important one in that statement, and I certainly echo those thoughts for anyone that might be tuning in today.
You got time for one hockey question here, Joey, if you don't mind? What are your memories of Alex Edler as a Vancouver Canuck?
Consummate pro, and quite frankly, a warrior. To play that many seasons in today's NHL game, what was it, 15 with Vancouver?
Yeah.
1,000+ games as a defenseman in this league. He, to me, deserves to be in the Ring of Honor. I'm thrilled on a couple of things. One, that he's retiring as a Canuck, and two, the organization is going to recognize him as an individual that night. I had the privilege of watching him from his teenage years in the Western League with the Kelowna Rockets, and having been in the media to cover the Canucks and worked with the organization, never had a problem with that guy. And he certainly is getting this well-deserved recognition. I'm thrilled for Alex and his family that he's getting a chance to come back to Vancouver, sign that dotted line one more time, and be recognized by the Canucks fans. He will get a huge ovation when they honor him in the early part of next month.
October 11th, Canucks Philadelphia at Rogers Arena. That's when Alex Edler will be honored for his outstanding time with the Canucks. All the best, my friend. Thanks so much for joining us, Joey, and all the best to Dakota Joshua as well.
Thanks very much, and looking forward to seeing Barclay Parnetta on your show in a few minutes' time.
Well, he is next.
He is next.
He'll appreciate the promo. Thanks, Joey.